Okay. So the first half of this, so it's got two parts. The first half is the orientation slideshow. It is basic office information. It is information about Keller Williams as a whole, culture, things of that nature. The second half, or more like third, is about technology. So that's when we're going to kind of flip over and you're going to see me go into different screens, and we're going to talk about command, and we're going to talk about what parts of your profiles and things of that settings that you have to get organized and finished in order to start to operate in business in command. Now, Alan, I know we had an issue with your login. I looked at it last night and I was not successful. So I asked the MCA to look into it. I'm hoping that she emails me some point during this, and then I might have that information for you. So, but yeah, so just take as many notes as you want. I mean, step by steps, if that works for you. Okay, sorry, my husband was texting me. Okay, so, but yeah, so we're just gonna start with the orientation and we'll do technology in the second half. Just know that you don't have to panic when I say homework. Homework means these are the things that you have to set up in order to do the other steps as you move forward. And I send a post onboarding email with those listed out, so you don't have to be like, oh, what was the name of that profile she told me to fill out? I don't remember. Don't worry. I have it in the email. I also include this presentation as a PDF, and I also include a step 1 slideshow as a PDF that kind of goes over some things like tagging your database and what to do with your contacts. So I include those as well. There's also going to be a training link that connects to YouTube. So that way you guys can do any YouTube training. It's like a step 1 through 20 of command in how it operates by Nick Baldwin. So I have that link in that email as well, so you'll be able to do some training that way. Okay, so let's get started. I'm sorry, Paul Sally, I forgot to put your logo on this. But I swear we love you. So what we're going to cover is agent standards, office staff, ALC and leadership, KW culture, and then KW technology. The agent standards, you're going to know what those are because they're in your guide to success. All of you will have signed a binder that's your guide to success, and it has this information that we're about to go over in it. So don't feel like you have to like memorize these right now. When you are a new agent, the things that you have to do right away are join a board, which is whether it's Norman or OKC or Southern Board, depending on which office you've joined on with. And then also watch the videos. That's that YouTube link that I said would be included in your post onboarding. If you don't have it yet, don't panic. Also, meet the director, first impressions for an office walkthrough. So that's going to be Ashley. Ashley is our new director of agent services, or first impressions. And she's going to be the one that if you are doing remote today, will be doing your walkthrough at some point. You'll schedule that with her. frontdesk111@kw.com is her email. So if you don't see something from her, you can go ahead and reach out to her and schedule that. For you guys, I'm probably going to do it with you when we're with this orientation because you're already here. That, you wouldn't want to spend a little extra time with me? Okay, so the agent standard. All of you are pretty new, so you're going to go with the new agent standards because that's anybody who's had less than 5 transactions. So for less than 5 transactions, you're going to attend all classes outlined in the Ignite program within 90 days of joining. Many of you already went through the Ignite while you were waiting to sign up. So you've already accomplished the first half of the Ignite program. Those of you who haven't, don't freak out. We're going to be doing the Spark series. I believe we're going to start that mid or end of October. We haven't nailed down a date yet, and that will go through some of November. Then we're going to take a break for the holidays, and we'll start again either January, maybe start of February, somewhere in there. So they'll be coming up again. Don't worry about the 90 days part because until we put it on the calendar, it's not an option. Attend the team meeting. We have 1 monthly team meeting. It is always the 3rd Tuesday of the month, and it is always at 11:30. We just changed that date because it was at 9 and we felt like that was a little too early. So So the one for October will be October 20th at 11:30. It is typically also on Facebook Live. So even if you can't come in or you can't pop on the Zoom because of technology issues, which trust me happen, you can always watch it on Facebook Live as well. Okay, so attend all contracts classes a minimum of 2 times. We recommend that you try to take the first contract listing and purchase contract set within the first month that you're here, and then again at some point over the next 6 months. The reason that we say that is because, like you guys were talking about, when you go through pre-licensing real estate, there's no teaching of how to do real estate. And this class is specific to the contracts you're going to be having your clients sign, and if they have questions, what it means, because sometimes that verbiage is real gobbledygook. And so it goes over paragraph by paragraph what each one means in the listing contract. That class is 1 hour. The contracts class is Monday. Don't ask me the date. 30, 29, 28. So the 28th of this month at 1 p.m. and 2 p.m. is going to be the purchase contract. Always back to back like a couplet. So the only thing I'm going to say this now, purchase contracts is a 2-hour-long class. It is because the purchase contracts has far more information involved in them than the listing contract, which always blows my mind. But it is. And the lucky thing is even though you guys are going to go through your 45-hour for your provisional licenses, once you are out of the provisional status and you are no longer a provisional agent and you need a certain number of hours of CE over the next 3 years, that purchase contract that Peggy teaches is also a CE certified class. So by attending, you get free CE. So that is also something to keep in mind if and when you're on the road to your CE credits after your first year. Now for October, because I know obviously it's last minute for September's class, and if you don't have the availability in your calendar, it's understandable. October 30th, it will be the exact same way. It'll be listing contracts at 1 and then purchase contracts at 2. They're always at the same time. They're usually the last Friday of the month, but we just had to shift them for September by a day. And I saw I had a chat, so let me just check that. It's Monday, September 28th at 1 p.m. and 2 p.m. Those are the contracts classes for this month. Let's see. Annual risk management meeting, that is something that you'll do with Stephanie. So just, she'll have that conversation with you when the time comes. Associate handbook training, we just had Mega Camp. So all of you being new, you may not be super familiar with Mega Camp. Some of you may have been able to participate because of your sign-on may have been around or during that time. So you may have been able to participate a little bit. We don't have an associate handbook right now because they just voted on a bunch of changes that are going to affect our handbook. So we have one, but it's currently out of date because there have been some new changes. So once we know what all of those changes are and we have all of the documentation to do our updates, we'll work on having a handbook training. But for now, don't worry about it because they just don't have one. Follow all policies and procedures for file compliance. That's 72 hours from active. Just making sure from active. So if you go and you have a listing appointment and it's rock star listing appointment, they sign with you on the spot, but they're not actually going to go active in the MLS until Friday. You have 72 hours from Friday, not from the date of that. Buyers, it's whenever you have a contract. Whenever you put in an offer, you have 72 hours from putting in that offer. So it's an active contract. Okay. Conduct themselves in a professional manner with clients, co-op agents, and fellow associates. I know all of you are party animals, quite rowdy bunch, but try your best. Close minimum of 6 transactions, at least 1 listing in the first 12 months. So this is something that obviously all of you, I'm sure, are working on your goal setting and your goal tracking and things of that nature. As long as you're making some solid effort and you're communicating communication stream with Stephanie. If you don't meet this and you haven't done so, don't panic. We're not gonna be like, you're a lousy agent, get out. We're not gonna do that. We're gonna say, you know what would maybe help your business is this class. Why don't you join on with this person? Why don't you try some coaching with so-and-so? We'll help you to build that business to meet that goal if you're not doing it at the time of your first year, okay? Okay. There we go. So, like I said, this is part of your guide to success, and it will also be a PDF in the email for post onboarding. So this is just some basic information about our offices. For this one, it's our address, phone number, fax, the front desk email, because that's kind of like the main point of contact for everything and anything. Our office hours, we do have an answering service for after hours, and you know, we go to lunch or whatever, there's still somebody that's going to be answering the phones. We do have a Wi-Fi password, which is also right here next to me. And it's also by the cafe computers over there. So that way you can connect your devices when you come into the office. Anybody who's going to be doing sales through the HUD store, this is our HUD ID. There are multiple places where this is located, so it's easy for you to access. However, it's the HUD ID that you will need if you want to do it that way. And then the EIN number is your tax number. If you do any type of referrals, they're going to ask you what your tax ID is for the referral paperwork for tax purposes. That is the tax number. You're also going to need it for your that when you're doing your taxes. So that is also available in multiple locations. And I had the chat, so let me just. There we go. Okay. So same for Ardmore. Ardmore's address, we just actually relocated from one building to a main street on Ardmore. So this is now updated because I realized yesterday it wasn't. So you've got your Ardmore address, phone, fax. You're gonna see a lot of information is the same. So like the email is still My Front Desk, because our front desk here operates as the front desk there and as the front desk for Pauls Valley. All phone calls and all emailing for staff purposes funnel through the same system. And you're also going to see they have a Wi-Fi password, same HUD ID, same tax number. And then we also have a mega agent office in Pauls Valley, which is the South Central Valley office. Again, street address, phone, fax, you see front desk is the same, answering service, HUD ID rather, and the EIN number. So basic housekeeping rules. The Norman office, we have in the front here 3 spots that are marked spray painted visitors. Those are for visitors and guests of our agents. So we ask that our agents don't park there. Obviously, if you're just dropping off like 2 or 3 signs, or you're picking up 2 or 3 signs, you can park there just to unload or whatever. We just don't want you parking there for hours. The parking spot in Norman, all the way down on the end here, has a for sale sign in front of it. It has a KW Care sponsor rider right on the top. That is a parking spot that we raffle off every quarter. It is considered VIP parking, and we raffle it off, and all of the funds from that go into the KW Cares grant account. Now, I'll talk a little bit more about KW Cares when we get further in the slideshow, but currently it is being raffled off now, so you can go ahead and bid on that. If you smoke, please smoke out the back door here from the Internet Cafe. Fridge is cleaned out the last Saturday of the month because we don't want it to grow any fungus. And please clean up after yourself. Basic rule, if you wouldn't want your clients to see it, don't leave it for somebody else's clients to see. One thing, we encourage all staff and associates to time block their day to allow at least 2 to 3 hours per day to focus on their one thing, or 20%. To assist with time blocking, staff or associates may have their door shut. If the door is shut, please understand that person is focusing on their one thing and do not disturb. So here's the dilly. You can't time block your whole day. There wouldn't be any time for, eating. which is kind of basic. So what we ask is that you time block for your 20% of business, which is 2 to 3 hours each day to focus on what is most important of your business, which for most agents is lead gen. That's why we have a Power Up Monday where we do 2 hours on Zoom for accountability, where people can pop on. They can ask questions if they're like, you know, I had this weird call and this is how I responded, but I don't know if that was the way I should have responded, or I had this call and I didn't know how to lead the conversation away. They kept going back to this one objection and I didn't have a handler for it. It's a great way for agents, experienced or new, to get some ideas on how to handle some calls. And then everybody mutes themselves and you do lead gen for 2 solid hours. And you can't not do it because people are watching you even if they're not watching you. It's creepy, but it's also amazing. It's accountability. So we have that built in on our Monday schedule just to kind of help the agents build in that one thing, right? Well, one thing is a book. It is not necessarily real estate specific. There are things in there that apply just in everyday life as well. So it's a great read. We recommend it, which is why we have it on our recommended reading list. So the reading list that we recommend is obviously the MREA. That's the book that everybody gets when they sign up. If you haven't gotten it, send an email to the Front Desk 111. We probably were running low and I ordered them and they were just delayed because of the holiday. So read the MREA. The nice thing about the MREA is that you don't have to read it like a normal book from front page to back page. It's divided into tabs and sections where you can just read about the budget model, or you can just read about this one section. You don't have to read the whole book in one sitting. The second book that we recommend is Shift. The reason that we're recommending Shift is because that's exactly what our market is doing. Our market is in a massive shift. The pandemic created a shift for our market. Job losses are continuing to shift our market. Strange and unusual spikes in things that people wouldn't have normally been so excited about, like Zoom and tech jobs and work from home jobs that they didn't know could be work from home jobs, have actually increased revenue for some people. Healthcare workers, anybody who may have been deemed an essential worker, obviously had a little bit more economic growth than others. So the housing market is doing some weird and interesting things. So The Shift is a fantastic book to read right now because that's what our market is doing. And it's going to continue to do it because what you do now affects your business in 3 months. Phone calls that you make today aren't really going to produce anything for you today, but they're going to produce a paycheck for you in 3 months. That is how business and real estate operates. It's the same kind of thing when you're talking grand scale economics. Grand scale economics, what happens today, you won't actually see the impact for 3, 6, 9 months from now. And so we're going to continue to see a big shift. Which means the one thing, you want to start your business off on the right foot, which means you want to know how to time block, you want to know how to set up your schedule from the get-go, because if you can set it up now, it's like muscle memory. You don't think about how to spell your name when you sign something, right? You just do it. And that's how you want to set up your business, because you want to go through those struggles now when you don't have 40,000 people trying to call you because you're doing 100 transactions in a year. You want to set those up now so that way it's just automatic muscle memory when you do get to that 100 houses a year, okay? So that leads me to the MREI. This used to be only 3 books. We've added a 4th. The reason we added the 4th is because that's MREI, Millionaire Real Estate Investor. Because unfortunately, we're going to be seeing a lot of foreclosures. It's just the belly of the beast on that one. You have a lot of people who are going into foreclosures. You had a lot of people who furloughed their mortgage payments, and those are going to come due. And if they're not able to make $1,000 a month payment, they're not going to be able to make the $4,000 at the end of that furlough. So it's just an inevitability that you all need to be prepared on dealing with investors, because that's who's going to be likely to be purchasing the largest number of foreclosures and REOs. So just some light reading for y'all. Enjoy. So opportunity time. This is the full policy. I put it on here because there's always a lot of little tidbits that go in. Don't feel like you have to write this whole thing down. Every month on the 15th, we send out an email that says, hey, it's time to opt in for the OpTime calendar. And this policy is included in that email, so that way you have it to reference. Basically, if somebody calls the front desk and says, hey, my neighbor just sold their house and I didn't realize that the market was like it is and I would love to sell my house. I'm like, great, who do I send it to? I can't just pick an agent because that would allow for bias or favoritism. Or if I'm only picking the agents who are here and you're out because you're doing showings and stuff like that, then that would be a missed opportunity for you. So what we have is an opt-in program. And what I do is I send out that email, and then in order of responses, I write everybody's name in a list, and then I print a blank calendar and I write everybody's name from that order of the list on the calendar. And that way it's completely non-biased. It's just whoever opts in gets on the calendar. And what that calendar does is it creates a call list for us to say, okay, great, I'm so excited that you want to look into selling your home. Let me get you in touch with Hunter. Hunter is actually a fantastic real estate here in our office, and he would love to work with you. So let me put you on hold for just a moment while I transfer you. Mind you, he may be on an appointment or driving, so if he doesn't answer, please leave a voicemail, and he will get back to you as soon as he's available. And then I transfer that call to Hunter, and Hunter's like, hello? Yeah. No, I'll sell your house. So that is how the OpTime works. Now, in order to be eligible for OpTime as a new agent, you have to take the OpTime class. I have an OpTime class scheduled for October 1st at 10 a.m. It is a 30-minute class, and it's a what now class. You get a phone call that is a cold call, and you go, great, I will sell your house. Now what? What's the next question? How do you lead the conversation with that person? How do you get the appointment scheduled to continue that conversation into an actual successful business transaction? That is what this class is. It's just the what now? Now what?
When was that?
October 1st at 10 a.m. It's a Thursday. It's right before the PC group coaching. Stephen Massey, who's the PC group coach, he's actually the one who teaches it. So he will be leading that. And then the other thing that you have to do in order to be eligible as a new agent is to take the listing and purchase contracts one time. Because if that person is a buyer and says, sitting outside this house and I want to see it, and then you show it to them and they want to put the offer in right there on that spot, you have to know how to write up the contract to do so. So those are the 3 requirements that we ask. And then after that, it's just number 4. So you have to have attended a team meeting or a class or some type of script practice, be in bold, be in mastery coaching, ALC, or faculty. And so that is what OpTime is. And if you are on the OpTime calendar, I send you a copy of the calendar before the 1st of the month. That way you know what days you are on, so you can make sure that you're available to take those calls. You do not have to physically be in the building, but you have to physically be able to take the phone calls and be able to search the MLS, because obviously if they're calling you and you need to do some type of comp, or they're sitting outside a house and you've got to figure out which house it is they're sitting outside of so you can give them information, you have to have access to your MLS. Who are our peeps, y'all? Got Rusty Mullinex. Rusty Mullinex is the operating principal, our OP. He owns this facility, or this office. He also owns the branch office in Ardmore, as well as our mega agent office in Pauls Valley. He's the honcho of our, he's the poncho honcho. Anyway, I really need more coffee. So our staff for KW Mullinex here in Norman. Now you're gonna see my picture there. I used to have both roles. I was both agent services as well as first director. And now Ashley has taken over. I just didn't have a picture of her yet, so I didn't put one in. Stephanie is our team leader. You all have met with her at some point because you've signed up with her. Sherry Maxwell is our MCA. That stands for Market Center Administrator. She's basically like the the mass administrator for all of our Market Center. Myself as Director of Agent Services. And then, like I said, Ashley at the front desk is our new Director of First Impressions. Peggy Wright is our broker here in Norman. Peggy is a one-woman show. She's an incredible person, but we'll get into her role in a minute because I could talk all day about Peggy. And then Bob Horner is actually our compliance officer. Because of COVID, he's working just basically from home. So you'll get to know him through email and phone call, but eventually as things start to get better with COVID, we hope to see him in the office a little bit more. But for now, that's what he looks like in case you do ever bump into him in the hallway. You could be like, Bob, 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 I see you. How are you, Bob? Bob's wonderful. So for Ardmore, you're going to see all of the staff is basically the same. We have Stephanie for team leader, Sherry for MCA, myself as agent services, Ashley for front desk. And then the difference is Tom is the broker for Ardmore, and then Bob for compliance officer. And then for Pauls Valley, guess what? It's all the same except for that broker. It's going to be Skylar. So all of the same staff, and then Skylar is the broker down there. You're going to see Skylar a lot because she's in a lot of different things in this slideshow. So who does what? Stephanie is the team leader, does recruiting, so your sign-up packets, doing the conversations and meetings with you. She also does the top 20%. What does that mean? That means that when you reach the top 20% of the agents in our office, there are very special circumstances that start to arise. When you get to 50 transactions, you really start to question your sanity, but also, who do you hire? Because you need some help, right? So Stephanie is the person that kind of helps talk them through, okay, you know what? Let's look at your KPA. Let's look and see where your strong suits are and see what kind of complement hire you need. Do you need an admin? Maybe you actually do pretty well with your admin stuff, but you really need a buyer's agent because you just don't have the time to go and do the showings. Maybe you just need a showing assist. Maybe you hate going on listing presentations and you need a listing agent. She's the one who helps you walk through what your business looks like and what your strengths are through your KPA so you can figure out where you need to be looking for some help. She also maintains the overall well-being of the Market Center as a whole. So, you know, keeping the agents in a happy place. She's our director of happiness. So, then you have Sherry Maxwell, who's our MCA, again, Market Center Administrator. When you think about Sherry, think about money. She makes it rain money. So she does our bookkeeping. She does all of the processing and payments of agents. If you need a DA to get paid at the table, she's the person who creates the DA. When you submit commissions, it's going to her. She creates that DA, she puts that DA in your file so that way you can send it to your title company and have them issue you that check at the table, which is wonderful. If you don't have a DA and you go to a closing, then you bring the check, it's going to be written to just us. And so she has to process that check and have that issued to you. So that will happen in her system of magic. She also does all of your office bills. So you'll be seeing, you'll get an email on the 10th of the month that basically tells you what your office bill is, and then she charges them on the 21st. The reason for the gap is because that gives you time to be like, I don't know what that means, or my card expired and I have to update it, or I want to use a different card than what I signed up with because that card, I just used it because I had it on me, or whatever. She's the one who, it gives you a little bit of a gap so you can get in touch with her and do whatever you got to do.
You said it starts the
20th. 21st is typically when she charges it, unless obviously it falls on a weekend, and I don't know what she does on that. So then you have agent services. So for me, it's going to be onboarding, KW Technology. If you're using any systems outside of KW Technology, I will try my best, but there are a lot of ones and zeros in the interwebs. And I am not guaranteed to know how all of them work. Trainings and events. So, you know, I create this calendar and all of you are going to be so excited to open your emails because last night I decided to just do the whole month. So y'all got about 40 something emails last night at midnight because I was awake. Marketing for the office. So doing basic things like sending you you know, your Google invites, sending things on the, the like special events, which we haven't really been doing any, honestly, because of the COVID stuff. So we can't have really any get-togethers or anything, but any of that type of stuff. And then also assisting the MCA, although that's been currently reversed because I have a whole boatload of crazy going on. So she has been really helping me instead. And then again, that's not really what Ashley Hawkins looks like, guys. Sorry, I just don't have her picture yet. So the front director of first impression handles all of the regulatings of the phones, faxes, general office information, maintains supplies, meaning office supplies, like if copy paper, toilet paper, kitchen coffee, like all of that stuff is maintained by that person. Handles the copy and printer issues. Xerox is the devil, just in case anybody is curious. It's an awful, awful thing. So if you have a Mac, if you have a Mac, unfortunately, we cannot install the drivers. So you have to call Xerox. We'll give you the phone number and we'll give you the printer ID. For whatever reason, Xerox is a Windows company. So they have to create fixes for Mac to make it work with the drivers that they have. So there are usually some issues when it comes to printing for Macs. And Mac does so frequent of updates that a lot of times it corrupts the drivers, and then you have to call them back and just ask them to fix whatever is broken. So it's not a big deal. It's just not that we can't do it because they have the printer gurus on the other side of that. So, for Windows, I can install the drivers, or the front desk can install the drivers, and then you'll be able to print without a problem. It's just because our printers have accounting codes, and that's what Mac has a problem with, is the accounting feature.
Is that the main issue with it, is just the printing?
Yep. It's not, there's nothing else that's wrong with Mac. Macs are wonderful. I have a Mac, but when I started working from home for COVID, I ran out to Walmart, had to buy like a Windows desktop because I couldn't I was like, this is just so complicated. That and everything we have is like in Word formats of some sort. And so Mac obviously did not work well with that. Yes, anything that you do need to print, if you're having issues with printing, as long as it's in your email or you know your username and password to get into whatever it is you are trying to print from, you can use our cafe computers there. They're already connected to the copiers. They're already set up to copy. You just open them up, and then you just open whatever browser, search or email or whatever, and then you can print right from there. A lot of times our agents use them anyway because they don't feel like bringing their laptops in to set them up so they just do it right from there. So as long as you know your username and password, you can use the cafe. So that's just my disclaimer.
Like, I need to print something.
Yeah, that's just my disclaimer right there, is the printing with the Xerox can be quite complicated. So creates open house flyer. So on Wednesdays and Thursdays, you'll see a Facebook post that says, if you're hosting an open house, let us know. And then we create a flyer that we post in our talk group and on our public page. So the public knows what we're doing, but also so our agents all know behind the scenes which open houses our agents are hosting. It's because you never know who may have a buyer that's looking for something. And a lot of times the houses that are on that open house flyer can be new to the market, like on Friday. So it's almost like a sneak peek because they're knowing about that on Friday morning when it's just going active. Okay, and then the new agent walkthrough. Peggy. Peggy maintains the legalities of you as an agent and our market center. She is your broker. So you are the finger to the Peggy palm. Okay. I like references. She also teaches the contracts classes. Now, additionally, Peggy is on a real estate team. Her and her husband are a married team that does real estate, Right Real Estate. She also owns Right Realty School. So she does the pre-licensing and post-licensing. I'm pretty sure all of you are aware or going to be attending her post-licensing on October 5th through the 9th. They're all day long, so they will be in this room. I already have the calendar changed to accommodate that. So y'all are gonna be in here from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. I don't really know what the class hours are, but that's what I booked it as because I didn't know. Okay, I was just guessing, but I'm assuming that that's what it is. Okay.
How often does she do those?
Not frequently. I think this is her last post-licensing of the year.
Didn't she?
From a city.
Yeah, she said that there's one in November.
Yeah.
So, but that one I don't know about. Yeah, because it's not going to be here, so I don't.
She said like February. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she has them, I want to say she has them typically once a quarter. The reason that this one got added last minute is because we just had 8, 9, 10. I think we've had 11 new agents in like the last 2.5 weeks. Plus we have a couple more coming on that just haven't signed their paperwork yet. They all have appointments like this week to sign them. So she has quite a few people, I think like 12 or 13 people confirmed to come to this one. So we just needed an extra one. So that is why that kind of got added on last minute, but that will be the 5th through the 9th from 9 to 5 in this room. It will not be offered on Zoom. It's not certified to be virtual. So you have to be in the room. She also teaches our contracts classes. She's CE certified for doing that. And last year she was actually on the OREC board as president. She's very fancy. She's wonderful. We love Peggy. Tom is the broker down in Ardmore. He maintains the legalities of you as an agent in Ardmore's business. Skylar, she's you're going to see her a lot in this slideshow. Maintains the legalities of you as an agent for the business center down in Pauls Valley. So if you were operating out of Pauls Valley, she would be over you. You would be the finger to her comb. Okay, Bob Horner reviews agent transaction files in Command. In Command. I'm going to say that really loud just in case anybody didn't hear it. In Command. We don't go into DocuSign. We don't, if you decide to purchase dotloop on your own, we don't go into dotloop. If you decide to use transaction desk, we do not go into transaction desk. If you need something compliance reviewed, it has to go into Command. We do not go into any of your signature systems. So just know that ahead of time. So for compliance review, it has to go into Command. He approves those files for DA. He will put a little tag on it that says approved for DA, and then that gives Sherry the indicator that she can create a DA for your file. You will not get a DA if you do not have an approved file. So if you are looking to get paid at the table and you do not have your file reviewed for compliance, you will not get paid at the table. I said it with a smile, so you can't hit me. So also, in addition to that, if you get an approved file, right? And then you say, oh, well, it's not part of the compliance review, but I just want to throw in my lead-based paint pamphlet real quick. That will change the status of your file to changed. In doing so, it will no longer say approved, and therefore you will not get a DA. So once you have an approved file, if you need to make a change, you have to make sure you're resubmitting it for compliance review, even if it's not a requirement for your compliance, because unless it says approved, you will not get a DA. Okay. So we have a wonderful ALC this year. The ALC changes every year. So in December, these ladies will be completing their rotation and a new group will be joining us in January. As of right now, that also changes the number. Last year we had 7 ALC members. This year we have 5. By chance, they all happen to be women. So you will see Missy Webb on here. She is I believe they just changed her role to the lead listing agent for the web group, which you'll see in the corner over there. Skylar, who is also the broker down in Pauls Valley, she's also just started her own real estate team. And obviously she does quite successfully in real estate business on her own down in Pauls Valley. Jennifer Rush, who is head of or lead of the RISE group, which is over on that side. And then you also have Marcy. She's part of a married couple team, Royal Group, and they are also on that side in between Rise and Kyle Davis's team. And then Sarah Fleming she's like a one-woman show, that girl. She has Stephen Massey, who assists her on occasion with some admin work, but otherwise she's a solo agent for Fleming Real Estate. So she's actually right next to Sherry's office. So our ALC typically office here, so you see all of them except for Skylar, who offices in Pauls Valley, obviously. You can reach out to any one of them if you so desire. Their phone numbers are there, and they also are on Facebook and things of that nature. So you can always reach out to them with questions as well. So all of them also chair a committee. The committees are public. You don't have to join. We don't make you learn a handshake. There's nothing crazy, swears. You just attend, and it gives you information and an opportunity to participate in what's happening in our market center. It's just a committee of things. So finance committee is chaired by Marcy. She has a goal to develop agents' financial progress and process through training and workshops. So I believe not the last meeting, but the one before, she had everybody review the mega real estate agent, the MREA budget model. It's like 5 pages or 6 pages, because that is what you want your business to look like. You want to be a millionaire real estate agent, right? So it tells you the formula in achieving that. How many calls do you have to make? How many appointments do you have to set? So on and so forth, right? And then she talks about profit first, which is the process or the system in financially achieving that. Because as a 1099, I'm sure all of you know, it's not a standard job. It's not, you're gonna get a paycheck and your taxes have already come out, and your health insurance, if you've got that pre-tax health insurance or whatever. As you can tell, I don't have health insurance. but the point is that it's not a standard job. So you are the one who has to accommodate and make those divides in that money. So when you get your first check for $6,000, you're like, yes! Just remember, your taxes haven't come out of that. You have to pay yourself. You want to make sure that your business expenses are covered. There's a lot that comes into that check, right? So she goes over that. So I always recommend, as new agents, if no other committee, please attend the finance committee. She also talks about things like how to become an LLC, which Alan, I'm sure you don't have to worry about because you already have a business, so you know that stuff. But she goes over how to do an LLC, how to potentially incorporate yourself, how to, what types of conversations to have with accountants so you can find one that will work with the profit first model, because apparently accountants don't really like it. I guess it's really, it's just, they just don't like it. So she goes through all of those things, and it's really helpful because at the end of the day, you start a business at 0, and it's really annoying to have to dig yourself down and then have to go back up so you can get to 0. Like, please let me be at 0 and then go up. Instead, you want to start at 0 and just go up. So she kind of goes over how to do that, because as new agents, specifically as new agents, y'all have expenses in the beginning that kind of eat away at any type of savings. And you have a little bit of a gap before you have your first closing, typically 3 months, but you have a little bit of, you know, or 6 sometimes, like you have a gap there. So it's really important to set your business up right. Okay, growth. Growth and production actually got combined into a single meeting because of pizzazz here on our wall. We started creating a market center goal tracking system. We're going to be ordering whiteboards because we decided to do this for 4th quarter. And I was like, I'm not reprinting all of these names. This is a lot of work. So growth and production. Production is focused on getting you to cap. If you are not a capper and you want to be a capper, what activities do you need to be doing to get to that next step, right? So they talk about a lot of ideas. They talk about increasing of the business that you have by treating your business like a business. And then growth is not just focused on market center growth, but community growth. So how do we have conversations with co-op agents when they see us being successful and they're like, what are you doing that I'm not doing? I don't get it. And you're going to say, you know, I'm going to have my team leader call you. Will you promise me to take my team leader's call? Because I bet you there are some conversations that she's just dying to have with you about that. Stephanie, I'm sending you this person. Make sure they put me down as their profit 3%, please. You know, so we go over those things. But yes, the point is to grow the market center by boosting our production and also by engaging our community. So our community members are like, you know, I always see those Keller Williams agents out there doing this or doing that, or having this great community event, or helping on Red Day, or doing these different things. So you're building a community group, but you're also building co-ops coming in. So you're growing the actual number of agents in our office, and then we're growing production naturally because of those things. So they kind of combine because they realize that their goals are so similar in impacting each other. So next is technology. The technology committee is about 100% adoption of Command. Now, I'm going to just clarify that. We do not need you to use every section of Command, because there's a lot that Command does. Command does a lot of things. What we want is that if there is something that you want to do with your business and Command does it, use Command. Because you already pay for Command in your office bill in part of the technology fee. So we don't want you as new business owners to have more expenditures on more and more programs and more logins and sign-ins and all of these extra steps if Command can do it for you because you already have it. That's our goal. Seems pretty straightforward, right? And then culture is chaired by Missy. And the goal of the culture committee is to create a market center that no one wants to leave. Now, that goal has been expanded because of a lot of things that were happening in our community and in our nation, right? So you have things that were happening with the pandemic, really kind of changes what we could do or what we should do when it comes to creating a market center that no one wants to leave, right? It also was impacted by things like the Black Lives Matter movement and the equality and equity movements. And so that is part of what the ALC voted on during MegaCamp, is there were a lot of changes. So now we have task force for equity, you know, that we participate in as a region. And then there's one regional task force member from, you know, the group that goes and does like the KWRI task force. So that way we could be members of change inside of Keller Williams and inside the nation. So it kind of expanded past just a market center that no one wants to leave to also including being a company that no one wants to leave, which I tell you is true. Nobody wants to leave this company. I don't want to leave this company. It's wonderful. So KW culture. KW Cares, we talked about tiny bit when we were talking about that parking spot that we raffle off. KW Cares is a 501c3 public charity created to support Keller Williams Realty associates and their families with hardship as a result of a sudden emergency. Hardship is defined as a difficult circumstance that a person or family cannot handle without outside help. The charity is the heart of Keller Williams Realty culture in action and serving the higher purpose of business through charitable giving in the market centers and communities where Keller Williams associates live and work. So what does that mean? Right? So what that means is we had locally, May 2013, we had the tornado that ripped through Moore, right? One of our agents lost their home in that event. They received a grant from KW Cares to help them keep a roof over their families' heads and start to rebuild. We had another agent who had a granddaughter who was born with a medical issue. They received a grant to help cover medical costs while their granddaughter was receiving treatment. But it's not just about the agent. it's also about the community. So in the second part, it says market centers and communities where Keller Williams agents and associates live and work. So when Katrina came through and gutted Louisiana on the coast, we sent Mack trucks down with blankets and water and shirts and anything else that you could think of that could help the community where our Keller Williams agents used to operate and know these people and work with these people, because they've just lost everything. So we supported the community during that time. So that's what that KW Cares is. When you do your commissions, there is a spot on your commission sheet where you can give $10 to the KW Cares per transaction. And we always encourage that because it's a good cause. Now, more locally, we have Local Love, which is like our office's version of KW Cares. So we usually, say usually, but not this year because of COVID, we usually have like barbecue fundraisers and things of that nature to help raise money for this. And we use the money for a multitude of things. We always buy gifts for the VA hospital, not hospital. It's in Norman. It's right there.
What are you thinking?
Veteran Center.
Okay,
Do you know what I'm saying?
is it off Highway 9?
No. I don't know. I don't know where Highway 9 is.
You know, it's the old thing.
Does it have a really nice like park entrance? Then probably not that one.
So.
But anyway, there's wonderful veterans who are older and in wheelchairs and have hard of hearing and have other such issues. We buy t-shirts for the dementia wards there. We've bought, last year we bought a sound system for their cafeteria because a lot of the hard for hearing vets couldn't hear when they had the guest speakers come in. So we got them a sound system. We've done a number of things. We usually go there Christmas caroling around Christmas time, but we're not thinking they're gonna allow anybody in to do that this year. And then we have also done a bird atrium because apparently birds help with dementia patients as well. It helps keep them calm. So we bought big bird atriums and we had our agents individually sponsored a canary. And then we gave them canaries and all this stuff for their birds. So we try to do some nice things for the vets when we can. Additionally, there are children in the foster care system who aren't guaranteed good Christmases. So we do like the like Christmas Angels type programs where they give us an age and male or female, and we purchase gifts that are appropriate for that age range to send to the foster children so that way they can have a good Christmas. So we do things like that that are funded by the Local Love. And then we also do things like if one of our agents is really struggling and they may not be able to stay in business, we sponsor a scholarship to cover half the cost of, say, Bolt, because traditionally Bolt has been $800 a go. So we would sponsor half of that. Now with it being digital as a Bold pivot because we can't be in person, it's only been $100. So we were able to give more scholarships so that way we could give more of our agents an opportunity to benefit from the Bold program. So we try to do things that impact our community, but also impact our agents on a local level through Local Love. 4 pillars of culture. The Y4C2Ts is going to be getting changed. They voted to add an E between the T and the S. So it'll still be Y4C2Ts. It'll just be Ts. And we have the MVVBP. Culture in Action and 6 Personal Perspectives. 6 Personal Perspectives is actually a class. It is a class that is typically taught by Stephanie, although we were very blessed to have Mo Anderson come in January and teach it herself, which is incredible. If you don't know who Mo Anderson is, she's wonderful. Just love her. Anyway, she came in January and we had such a huge turnout that we originally were planning to have it in here. However, we had over 150 agents who were dying to get in there. So we had to ask Norman to use their like city hall, like, you know, what do they call that? Not stadium. What do you call it in college? The big classrooms there.
Oh, the lecture hall?
Lecture hall. It's like a big lecture hall looking thing.
Hall, so.
I did. I was like, I hated them. I hated lecture halls. I was like, there's like 500 people and people are sitting on the steps.
I didn't even have that many
Stop breathing on me. Ugh. So it is a class, and it basically teaches you perspective. It's literally perspective. This is where your natural talent is. This is where you want to be. How do you break through that ceiling to get where you want to be? Well, once you do that and it becomes your new normal, how do you break through that again to get to the next part? So that's kind of what it mainly focuses on, is how you approach those things. So in your guide to success, you're going to see towards the back, there's a little green paper that divides it out, Kellerisms. We have tons of Kellerisms because we like to talk to each other in code. Just kidding, we don't really talk to each other in code. But you will hear things like somebody will come in and they'll be like a whirlwind, right? And they'll be like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm a high I. And you're like, I don't know what that means. Do you like ice cream? I'm not sure what that means. But it's because it's related to the disc. Or they'll be like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm so pushy, I'm a high D. And it's all in reference to the disc, which will eventually be another class that Stephanie will teach, but we're gonna do profit share this next month in October. But it's funny. So these are some references, because you definitely will hear people say these things and you'll be like, I don't know what they're talking about. So that leads us into the MVVBP. That literally means mission, vision, values, beliefs, and perspectives. So obviously our vision is to be the real estate company of choice, but also we have a very firm belief system, and that is the Y4C2Ts. So this, again, they just voted to add the E, and I know that the E stands for equity, but I don't know what its like little catchphrase part is. So I'm just gonna say that part when we get there. W's, win-win or no deal, integrity, do the right thing, customers always come first, commitment in all things, communication, seek first to understand, creativity, ideas before results, teamwork, together everyone achieves more, trust begins with honesty, E for equity, success results through people. So that is the belief system that we build Keller Williams culture around. So that's what that Y4C2Ts. So it's also on our hallway right over here. So that way you'll be able to see it there. Like I said, it will be updated to include the E now that that's been voted on. And then we have culture and action. This is all in your guide to success again. So the culture in action is just 52 bullet points of stuff, just things that all are quote unquote one-liners of what our culture is when you put it into action. It's also here, but this one we added 2 after literally like the week that we had this arrive, and we're like, we're so on top of things. Look at us hanging up this poster. They're like, we've updated, and I'm like, so it looks a little different now, but needless to say, they're just different pieces of culture that impact the whole. So like number 52 is always my favorite. Be nice, kindness matters. It does. So anyway, these are just different bullet points of culture. Now, with that being said, we do post this on our Facebook group every day. We try to just pick one that is relevant, and we go ahead and post that on Facebook to kind of keep it in the forefront of everybody's minds. And then on top of that, we also post them around the office. Y'all are here because you think that there's a class at 10 o'clock.
There's not.
No, I canceled them on Monday because I was doing an onboarding from 9 to 11. So I canceled it, but you're welcome to sit in. I'm gonna go over technology stuff in a minute. It's up to you.
Getting ready.
Okay, well, I'll be here. I'll be here for the others.
Okay. So we have some major events that I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is, so I'm gonna close you.
Who is it?
Rachel Frazier.
No, she used to be an agent, but not anymore.
Okay, so I was gonna say I'm not familiar with that name, and
Rachel was the one that was on the web team and went to Whatcha.
Yes. Okay, I forgot her last name was Frazier. Okay, so we have 3 major events that are usually pretty important if you can attend. We try to we literally structure our calendars around them, so they're pretty important. Red Day is an annual day of service that we close down the office and we ask our agents to close their businesses for the day and just come and do a physical act of service on the second Thursday of May each year for our community. We've done Habitat for Humanity where we built houses. Last year we went to the American Legion on Main Street and we painted their interior, replaced their ceiling fans, and did some landscaping for them because their building was quite rough town. They're older, so they just couldn't keep up with it. So we went in and we did all that. This year, because of COVID, we weren't able to physically get together. So what we did was scholarships for our 2020 seniors, because a lot of them missed out on sporting scholarships, opportunities, and different things like that. So we gave out some scholarships for that. Now, also, we have the family reunion. That is an annual convention held each year in February, where thousands of associates gather to network, learn, and re-energize. We did have one in February because COVID was not real yet. We did not have all the closings things. So, yeah. So we did have a family reunion this year, but I'm not sure what the plan is for future because who knows what that will be. At this point, we did have Mega Camp in a virtual platform, which was awesome. So I'm hoping that even if we can't have an in-person family reunion, they do a similar platform to Mega Camp because I feel like it was a huge success. With that being said, Mega Camp is where top producing professionals gather to network and hear the latest insights, trends, and skills needed to succeed, held in Austin, Texas each year, August, September. So we just had that last week and it was virtual and it was quite successful. It was also really cost efficient. I don't know if anybody's ever gone to a convention, but it's normally like $2,000 to attend because it's $800 for the ticket, plus your travel, plus your hotel, plus your food. If you have to get taxis or whatever, like it's just usually it's a commitment. But this time around, it was like 120 bucks and you could just do it and pants were optional. You know, it was wonderful. So we also, because of that, she's like, oh, pants optional. Exactly. I mean, it was totally good. But yeah, so we also had a lot of agents who previously hadn't been able to commit to the time travel and the cost, who were like, yes, no, I would love to be a speaker. So we had some new speakers that hadn't previously ever been able to do so. So it was really a great experience and we had a lot of great times with that. So I'm a proponent of the virtual. Same for family reunion. It's a fantastic networking opportunity because you can meet agents who are like creme de la creme, top notch, like top sales for across the country. And at the same time, you can also just meet agents in general who are on different coasts, different states, and it starts to build a referral network for you that you can refer to them, yes, but then when they need to refer to Oklahoma, you're somebody that they're already familiar with. So it kind of works both ways. Bolt 2.0, it was actually kind of funny. This went live and literally the second time it went to start, COVID closed us down. So we have now Bold Pivot. So it's basically the same concept, but it's a virtual platform. And it has been working really well the first time around. They got a lot of feedback and they were able to make a lot of changes to make it even better. And so the Bold Pivot is always great. I really personally like it better than the original Bold because the original Bold was in person that you had to dedicate your entire Wednesday, like 8:30 to 4:30 every Wednesday for 8 weeks. because it, you know, had so much information. But now, because they're doing it virtually, it's every Tuesday and Thursday for 2 hours. And I'm like, that's way better. So personally, I like the improvement of Bold. I think that it's really great, and I highly recommend that if you are, even if you are brand new and have never done a transaction, Bold can still be super successful for you. I know personally of agents who literally got their license, and the first week that they were part of our office went to Bold, and they were able to achieve their first contract during Bold within literally 2 or 3 weeks of being an agent, and then it closed a month later. So that's really, it's a moment of success for sure. And it helps you learn to build your business with lead gen and things like that, what activities to participate in. So agents who do attend Bold are 176 more productive than agents who don't. So it really is a business booster, which is why we often do scholarship programs to Bold if we have agents who are really struggling. It's one of the #1 ways to really put, you know, NOS into your tank. Fast and Furious, you're welcome. Learned a thing or two. Can't change my oil, but I know what NOS is. So what's up?
And you can access that through the, how do we get on board with the Bold and stuff, right?
So once they announce when the next one will be, they'll send us the information and we'll post it on our Facebook page, the link to click on to go to register, and the schedule of when it will be taking place and all that. We'll post on the Facebook group once we know. And then typically we also send out an email.
I just want to make sure I didn't miss the date.
Yep, nope, I don't have a date for the next one. They finished it in August, and then we had Mega Camp in September. So I'm assuming that they're gonna have one at some point in October and or November, but with the holidays, I don't know if they're not doing one and they're waiting, or what their schedule is going to be. So I haven't heard a date yet, but we'll notify you the minute that they tell us when the next one will be. So as Keller Williams has specialties as well. And there are specialties that you can partake in if you so desire. You do not have to be a commercial agent in order to sell commercial property. I just want to clarify that. This is if you want to pay to participate in these programs so you can promote yourself as one of these agents by using the logo. That's how this works, okay? So KW Commercial, which does have its own set of legal contracts and requirements, and if you do not want to know what those are, refer it. We have commercial agents in our office. They will give you 25% of the commission, and they will do it all because that's what they specialize in. I highly recommend you do that if you don't want to invest the time in taking classes on that, because there are a lot of legalities that go into commercial that can be sticky. So you really, if you're going to be in it, you want to make sure you're really educated on it. Otherwise, you can just refer it to a commercial agent and they will take care of it, and you will get a 25% commission referral fee. Keller Williams Land. Keller Williams Land is really like a land and ranch because straight land sales, but it's also like if you sell 300 acres and it's got a ranch house on it, that ranch house is such a minuscule percentage of the overall property that it still counts as a land deal. So the Earhart team actually is one of our #1 land Keller Williams teams. They actually received the first Keller Williams Land award, well, what would have been our award ceremony, but we ended up doing a drive-by one because of COVID. So they were the first ones to receive that in our office, which was really cool because this is the first year that they did it. So I was like really excited about that. And then a certain percentage of your business has to be land deals for you to qualify. I don't know what that percentage is. If you wanted to participate in it, you just have to like look up what all the requirements are. But I do know that a certain percentage has to be qualifying as land in your business for you to qualify for it. So likewise, luxury homes kind of falls in the same thing. You can sell luxury homes to your heart's content, but if you want to brand yourself as a luxury homes agent with this logo, you have to participate in this program, and it requires that a certain percentage of your business fall above a certain price point to qualify. I don't know all the details. I just know it's like $500,000 or more or something like that. And where I'm from, easy peasy lemon squeezy. But here in Oklahoma, I feel like it's a bit more of a challenge because there are a lot of homes that fall under $500,000 than fall over it. So your business tends to have more of those, even if you do sell a good number of luxury homes, the percentage would still be off. And just to clarify, I'm from upstate New York, where the average home sale price is about $475,000. And it's average because the ones that are under $475,000 have to be gutted or ripped down. And all of the other houses are like $800,000. I actually just looked because my husband and I are having to move back to New York. And I looked the other day, and literally 2 miles from my mother's house is this beautiful mountain home listed for $2.7 million. And I was like, I bet you the inside of that sucker is gorgeous. So I'm scrolling through the pictures. Yeah, no, it's incomplete. There aren't even sheetrock or insulation. It's just a shell of a house for $2.7 million. And I was like, really? So it would be far easier to qualify for that where I'm from. However, here in Oklahoma, like I said, there are tons of homes that are in the luxury category. However, you're likely to sell far more less than that price. And so your percentage of business might be a little funny. And then we also have young professionals. So Keller Williams Young Professionals is a group of people typically under the age of 35 who get together to talk business strategy and kind of socialize, because what you may experience as a younger agent versus an agent, even if you're a new agent who's slightly older, you're going to have different demographics. So if you're 20 and you're fresh out of college, we always tell you, call your sphere, call your sphere. Well, guess what? My sphere is a bunch of 20-year-olds who don't even know what a credit score is. So my likelihood of being able to sell a house or have them buy a house is far less than somebody who's my age, close to 40, who's got all their friends and family are all buying houses, selling houses, having babies, buying dogs. Like, I have a good group of people that could buy or sell, whereas Hunter may have a challenge just calling his friends list and getting a lead out of that.
Like the fence list, I don't even have that.
Like,
Call mom.
yeah. Mom, do you know anybody? Exactly. So the way that you are going to approach business versus how I'm going to approach business are going to be different, because our age brackets are enough of a gap that it impacts how we go about that lead generation. Because instead of calling your friend and being like, hey, so is your mom home? Can I talk to your mom for a minute? Like, it's your mom. Yeah, can I just talk to your mom for 1 minute? Hey, hey, so hi, Stacy's mom. So now that, Chelsea has graduated college, have you considered downsizing? Like, it's a different kind of conversation, a different type of lead gen, because your leads are going to have to come in a different way than just calling your sphere. So there's a group of professionals who get together to tackle those challenges and support one another and see what worked for you, because that weird call with Stacey's mom did not go well, versus what did work for you. I went to this dog park and I just walked my dog and I met like 30 people who were all at the dog park having a great time, and I got a couple of leads out of it. It's just a different way to approach it. And I always say, use what you've got. Alex, love Alex. Her and I had a great conversation the other day. She has kids. I'm like, use them. You got to hand out candy on Halloween, stick your business card in the bag. Let's go. like use what you've already got to make it work for you.
Use those kids.
Yeah, like use them. Put them to work.
Borrow a child.
Yeah. Like, I'm just going to borrow one for just a few minutes.
Walk around the neighborhood.
Exactly. Oh, Lord. So KW Technology, this is like the ending of our slideshow here. So we'll go through these next few slides and then we're going to switch our screens. So we are a technology-based company, And there are a few pieces of homework that you're going to see in your post onboarding. The first and foremost is to download Kelly. Kelly is, I don't know if you can, hold on, I gotta make my window bigger so I can see it.
Yeah, I know, but I put the color Williams on.
So it's that teal one with the white KW in it that says Kelly, K-E-L-L-E. So that's what it looks like. And it's a virtual assistant, okay? So it does a lot of different things. You can, there's a lot of things that you can do. We're gonna have an apps class at some point, but you can do a lot of things within Kelly. You can do things like, I can scan Hunter's barcode at one of our functions and it will add him to my database and I will be added to his. So that way we have that referral network, right? You can access your commands. You can make a note in a contact. You can, gosh, landing page isn't the title of it. Insight. You can do an insight. So if there's a particular neighborhood that you specifically want to target, right? You can go to some of the important features of that neighborhood, like the school, and you can pin it on your app and say, this is the school in this area. That way, when you have a buyer who's like, I want to be in Brookhaven, you can say, well, here are a bunch of insights to what's around in Brookhaven, see if those look good to you, if they work for you. And it will brand that insight to you. So it does a lot of different cool features. Additionally, there's the KW Consumer app. Now this one is white with a red KW. They're two different KW apps. That's why I try to show them. So that one, when you download that app, you're going to sign in as a consumer. You don't use your KW login or any of that stuff. You can use your KW email if you want to, but it's as a consumer, okay? Once you do that, I'm just waiting for mine to load. KW Consumer app, it's just search Keller Williams and it will just pop up as one of the apps.
I'm going through all these skips really fast, and I have questions.
Yes,
So white with a red KW.
it's white with a red
So it just
KW.
says KW by itself, so, okay, I already have it somewhere.
Okay. So once you have the consumer app downloaded and you're signed in, it's going to kind of look like this. It's going to pop up, but you're going to have a, whoopsie, a little person right here that says more, and you're going to click that button. And you're going to see underneath your name, it's going to say, find a Keller Williams agent. You can't do this step yet, but I'm just showing it to you because this is going to be where you find it when you complete the next part. So the reason I'm showing you this is because when you click find an agent, you're going to search for yourself. And you're going to pick you as your agent. Because when you do, on that same page, down here it says, share the KW app. When you share your app to someone else and they sign up as a consumer, it will ask them, do you want Hunter to be, I keep picking on you, Hunter, I'm sorry. You're just right here. Do you want Rachel to be your real estate agent? They're gonna click yes or no, and if they click yes, that site will be branded to you, and they will show up as a logged in person on your command. Every time they like a property, it will show up in your command. Every time they create a heart list, it will show up in your command. Every time that there is a change in that app, it will show up in your command because they are registered as you for their agent. It's freaking cool.
I don't know if I did that as a consumer. I just hit sign up. It didn't
Yeah.
ask me.
Yep.
Okay.
I just meant because a lot of people think that you have to sign in with like your username and password, like, and because I always say the username and password is the same for everybody, you don't. It's not like an agent site, it's a consumer site. Right, you're doing it because you have to brand it to yourself to start sharing it.
Okay, so gotcha.
Okay, so
Do I want them to use my location? Only when using it.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. And then we do have custom websites. Again, when you select yourself as an agent, you're gonna have completed a marketing profile, which we're gonna flip to right in a minute. You're gonna use that same profile to brand your custom websites. It is a template. It is so easy. All you do is say, that's what I want my domain name to be. Next. I want it to be black, or I want it to be red. Next. Yeah, that picture looks fine. That phrasing looks good. Sure, next. And then it's live. That's it. You just, if you want to change a picture, you can, but for the most part, it's pretty straightforward. It's just a template. So, sweet deal. So it's also a transaction management. Oh, go ahead.
With that, should you wait until you have your license?
Yes.
Because I just paid for it, so it should like be in process.
Yeah, it's, you know, usually what happens is if you find yourself, it will update as you update your information. And it won't pull, if you don't pull up though, it's probably just because your license hasn't been issued or you haven't finished one of your profiles yet. That's all.
Okay. So.
So transaction management. So this system is a literal front to back system. So everything from putting in a contact when you meet Susie on the street to starting your business transaction to closing that transaction to your follow-up. So that way Susie 6 years from now, when she decides she wants to sell because she's had 5 kids, she comes to you to find her next home. How do your listings get syndicated? Okay, I gotta make my little window smaller again. Hold on.
I can't get the idea of 5 kids out there.
I did not have 5 children, but I'm thankful because they're heathens, pure heathens. So when you enter, now as part of your onboarding, I enable your list hub already, and Sherry makes sure that your MLS ID is part of your profile. So you're set up to do this already. You don't have to do anything unless there's a problem, okay? So you enter, as the agent, you enter the MLS, the property into your MLS to go active, correct? List Hub will see that you've done so and it will send it to the KWLS. KWLS will spit it out to Zillow and Trulia and the 300 other websites that participate as real estate. The reason they say 300 plus is because depending on the state, that number can vary. Okay, so this is how syndication works. Why a direct KW feed, you ask? I'm so glad you asked me. I have the answer. Because we have a my listings, my leads. I forgot that one had specials. My listing, my lead policy, which means that Zillow, who likes to sell their zip codes to agents, and then they receive leads from Zillow on people who are calling about those properties, they can't do that with our properties. They have to notify the KW agent or refer that person to the KW agent because it's a my listing, my lead policy. We did that way before Zillow started doing all of its crazy and whatnot. So it's been always our policy. Now that also qualifies for opt time calls. So if I get a call and I'm sitting at the front desk and they say, oh, I'm sitting outside this blue house with a windmill. What's the street address? So they tell me the street address, I look it up and it's Alan's listing. I'm not gonna send it to Hunter because he's on opt time. I'm gonna send it to Alan because it's your listing, so it's your lead. So that is how we operate both on the front end of things here on the market center level, but it's also how we operate on an international KW cross borders level. I'm gonna drink some coffee. Whew.
My list, watch out.
So first and foremost, I want everyone to save this website as their favorite to their taskbar because it is, we just updated it so it looks a little bit different now, but this is the jumping point for literally everything that you will need to do your business, okay? And we're super excited. And we're super excited that you're here.
Wait, can we go back to this?
Yes, I'm actually going to go to it. That's what we're going to switch to. So now you'll be able to, whoopsie. There we go. So this is what it looks like now. It was just updated. So it has some, it looks a little bit different than that picture. But you're going to see here, you have conference room booking. Okay. That link is sent to your KW email. It should be. You'll be able to register to use it. Remember your username and password, and then you can click on this link or the little code or URL that was included in that. You can also save that. Like you can see, I have my taskbar is full because I use a lot of websites, but you can use that as well, and you will be able to book one of our conference rooms. OREC, My eEdge. So I'm going to click on that one. My eEdge, right here, my KW eEdge. Okay, we'll go back to that one. Facebook talk group. YouTube, we're starting a YouTube channel for our training to be like warehoused there, so that way you'll be able to access the training videos instead of trying to search through Facebook, because they've updated and now you can't see what we titled the video, so you have no idea what class is which, and it's really not helpful. And then you have the training calendar, or one version of it, DocuSign, the Matrix, Gmail, and then KW Command, which I'm going to open that one as well. And then down here, you have different email providers, the OpTime calendar. So remember how I said everybody's on the OpTime calendar? This is September's, right? So let's see, what's today, the 23rd? So right now it's Grady Carter, and in a little while it'll be Kay Allen. So you will get this in your email if you're on it. And then if you're just curious to know who it is, then you can also look on the OpTime button here. We also have regional events and Norman board events. These are not maintained by us. It's just the link to their site, so I cannot account for their accuracy. We also have some CTE set up. You pay $1 a month for CTE. It is an accounting tracking system. We are going to try to have some class on how to use that, so that way you can kind of prep people for tax season, you know, that's coming up. So it is a program that you already pay for. You can use it. You can click this button. Oh, dang it. And then hit login, I think. Yes, hit login. And then, let's see. Click here. There it is. I don't know why I did that. Couldn't be found, because I was like, I know it's there. So you can say this is my office page, then you just tell them you're with Market Center 111, and it will send you an email to complete your registration. And then when you do that, you will have an account. You will see there's like 50 tabs. It's in spreadsheets. It's really hurts my face. I like budgets, but it hurts my face. But that's why we're going to have a class on it, because there's lots of information in there that you can track, your sales, your pendings, your incomes, all of it. And then you can just send it. Does anybody have a listing at 5012 Leno or something close to that? There's apparently a sign in the yard.
There's a sign in the yard and there's nothing in MLS, so we're just checking, and I figured you had a big group of people right there.
We assume it's a new person.
No, no, none of our peeps here have it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll work on something.
Also contact KW support. So if you're having a technical issue and it's like a weekend or late at night or whatever, you can always contact KW support during regular hours, whenever. Real estate searches. So there's the Keller Williams searches. There's also your basic like Zillow, Trulia, Realtor, all those. You got your OREC and your Oakmar down here. Here's that HUD ID again. Remember how I said I have it in a place that's super prominent? So even if you don't remember where you wrote it down, or you don't have one of your books, as long as you have this website available to you, you can have your HUD ID. I also have some downloads here, Chrome and Firefox. The reason I have Chrome and Firefox is because whether you're using a Mac or you're using, hello, I'm gonna set up in just a minute.
Yeah,
You can put them in here.
I can put it in here.
Yeah, yep.
I'm gonna give your card next time you have.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Sorry, everyone.
That's okay. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. Look at that, everybody. It's a duck. I love ducks. Uh-oh, I need a pen.
So cute. I saw that. That was cute.
I got a pen. Okay.
Will you put my name on there too, Tiff?
Yes, much love. Tiffany and Sherry.
You got that?
Yep. And I signed it for me and Sherry.
Awesome.
Thank you.
You're gonna be, are you gonna?
I'm gonna be decorating and once I'm done with these guys, and then I don't know if I'll be here. I gotta go pick up Mike at the hospital.
Well, that's probably more important.
Well, I married him. I guess I gotta keep him. So Chrome and Firefox. So the reason being is that with Mac, oh, okay, well, we'll do it together. Okay, let's tag team. Okay. Okay. So Chrome, whether you're using Windows or Mac, Chrome is what command works best on for a browser. The reason being is that our company uses Google as its like source of the ones and zeros. I don't really know all the terminology, but it's where it's hosted or something like that. So it works best there. If you are having issues, like if there has been a command update and your stuff is just not working, things look like they're missing and you're like, just clear your cookies. Because sometimes it remembers things from old versions and it tries to just use the old version. So just clear your cookies if you're having any issues, but make sure you're using Google Chrome. Okay, and then I have a bunch of converters here because each program has its own requirement. Facebook, you can only put a JPEG, an image. So if you have something that's a PDF that you want to upload, like a flyer for a home sale or something like that, you have to convert it to a JPEG. Likewise, if you send something to one of your clients who's super tech savvy like me, and they print it and sign it because they can't figure out the button on their phone, they might take a picture of the document and text it to you. You have to convert that to a PDF because you can't put a JPEG in command for compliance. So that is why these converters are here. They're all free. You can use them. Also, Mac to Windows, I have a Word doc to PDF converter. So that way, if you do have a Windows, you're able to convert your stuff so people with Macs can see it. But you guys all have Macs in front of me, so you won't need to do that.
Is there like a 50-50 PC Mac around here? Just, I know there's a lot of opinions, so it's just seeing what really.
Honestly, most people that I know have Macs, but because of just the general using of Office material, most people try to have Windows for their desktops. I don't know, otherwise most people have Macs. I know the Earharts, the Webbs, and Sarah Fleming all have Mac desktops. And I think Sarah Fleming has all but tossed her desktop out the door when she's trying to print something and can't get it to work.
They're so expensive. Anyway, the Mac.
Yeah, so I know most people have the Mac laptops, but also many people have Windows desktops for here in the office. So I think it's just a preference thing. I myself have a Mac laptop, but I use a Windows desktop at home for that purpose. We also have some social medias here. We also have a weather app because Oklahoma, you know, nobody wants to Dorothy. And then we have our tax ID here. We also have our license number. So it depends on which board you belong to that you are going to use. If you are part of the Norman board, this is your office license number. If you're part of South Central Valley or Ardmore, your license numbers are here. If you're part of the OKC board, which is a different board than Norman, you have the same access to the MLS and everything. It's just a board difference. I don't really know what the differences are, but they have access to the same stuff. But that does have a different license number. These are important because you're going to use them when creating your profiles that we're going to look at right now. And you have to make sure you're using the right one because that's what will brand your website and will brand your app and that you're going to use when creating your Facebook pages. Okay, so let's go back to, so this is your MyEdge. You'll use that username and password that I sent you. If it doesn't work, like with Courtney, where I accidentally didn't hit the 3 1, so I had to reset it again. But you'll be able to get into here, and this is the 2 things that I really, really want to show you. First and foremost, there's a button right here that says marketing. The very first box is logos and branding. You're going to just scroll down a little bit, and there's going to see Market Center logos 111. That's our Market Center. You want the regular Mullinex if you are part of the Norman board. You want Mullinex OKC if you are part of the OKC board. Okay? You'll just download. It will download a zip file. I highly recommend that when you download that zip file, you save it to your desktop because you're going to need to reference it to use the logos multiple times. And if you're like me, I can never find the stupid zip files when I'm done downloading them unless I put them on my desktop. Scroll. Scroll. Right there.
Right there, that's what I'm looking for, okay.
There you go. So 111. And you'll also see if you're part of Ardmore, that's in there. If you're part of Pauls Valley, because it's a mega agent office and not a branch office, your logos are not in here. Just email the front desk and the front desk can send them to you. Okay. So disclaimer on that one. Ooh, I want to show you one more thing there and I closed it. Okay. Additionally, you're going to see, you have to actually scroll down a little bit. It's kind of funny and I'm sorry. But you scroll down here and you're going to see this box at the bottom of the page that says quick links. And it's going to say Market Center 111 intranet. So you're going to click on the intranet, and the thing that I want to show you in here is this calendar. This is the training calendar. If you click on training calendar here, it takes you to this spot. The reason I show you that is sometimes it just takes you to the first page and you have to switch to the intranet to be able to see the calendar. And this is a view calendar, so you can look at all of the events. This is for September, so if you look in October, you're gonna see, I did post licensing in green just to kind of make it so that way everybody could see it. And you see this profit share is gonna get moved. So I'm gonna do that right now because I'm looking at it. Sorry. Okay, I'm just gonna move it right now, but it's gonna be on the 29th instead of the 28th because one of her leadership meetings got moved. So, but this is the calendar. It has all of our classes. If you do click on a link, it says that our Zoom web address is included in there. So you can access it here. You can access it via the Google invite, or you can access it, or you can access it on Facebook. Okay, now we're going to talk command. Command, same username, same password. It's everything else. It's all uniform. Okay, so we're just going to go over just a couple of things and then we're done. It's probably going to be about another 20 minutes and then we're probably going to be good. So you're not going to have a picture here yet, but you are going to have your name. And what you're going to do is you're going to click on it and oh, they updated it. It looks much fancier now. But anyway, you're going to click on this first button that says profile. Okay, so eEdge is actually going to be going away in January, so you won't have to use it for long, but you'll be able to use it now. So you'll still be able to use it to get to your logos and that stuff just for now. And then in January, that will be going away, so we'll have a training on how to use Connect through command. Okay, so this is what's called a referral profile. So when I talk about a referral profile, this is the profile I'm talking about. This is public to the agents of Keller Williams. It is if you want to sell a house in New York and I need to find somebody in New York to sell that property for my cousin, I would have to send a referral to New York. These are the profiles I would look at to send that referral. So in here, you're going to hit this edit profile button, and you're going to include your basic information, your email, your phone number, service areas. You can choose to type this out as a paragraph. I personally like just each town to have its own little pin because that's how I roll. So also I specify Oklahoma only because obviously there can always be little glitches, and I would hate for somebody to be mapped in the wrong spot because of whatever. And so I personally like to do that also because if you're looking to sell something in New York and you're not from New York, you don't know what they're talking about or where that's located. You're just looking for the town that you're looking to sell in, right? So, so if you are looking as your service areas are Tuttle, Newcastle, and Norman, maybe you and I know that Yukon isn't that far away and that you would easily service the Yukon area, but it's not listed here. So if I'm looking to sell something in Yukon, who am I going to pick? I'm going to pick somebody who has Yukon listed, right? So just try to be as thorough or unthorough as you want to be. Say OKC, Metro, and surrounding areas. I don't care. Whatever works for you and how you want to present yourself when doing this profile. You're going to do a bio. I recommend typing it up in Word or Notes so that way you have it to copy and paste because you're going to use this bio in another location in just a minute. Your Facebook, you're not going to use your personal. Create a page via your personal. You have to be a person to create a page. There was a confusion on that one. So you have to be a person, create a page, and it will be your business page. And just make sure that you're including all of the marketing details. I will include a DOA checklist, a Director of Agent Services checklist, in that post onboarding email. So that way you have the opportunity to look at the very last page, which is the social media, what you have to include and what you don't have to include for different things. Okay. So you're going to copy and paste that business URL into this section. So that way it's part of your marketing. If you have any types of closed units, listings, sold, blah, 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 time with KW, you can check these over. If you are like me, who's not licensed, or you're new, you might not have any of these things. So you don't have to check them so that they sit there and show 0. Just leave them off. Okay? And then, but most important is this one. If you have this gray, no one will see it. It will be just on your side. You have to opt in order for anyone to see it to refer you business. Okay? So that's the only really important part. And then of course, save changes. Now your picture you can upload through here, and you can also update your banner if you choose. I just happen to like the Austin one, so I left it. But that is the referral profile. Like I said, this isn't public. It's not going to be used for your branding. It's just for other agents in Keller Williams to see when they're looking to refer you. So again, when you're clicking on your name, that's this profile here that we were just on. You're also going to see settings. That's what we want next. So when you're in settings, DocuSign will be up here, but it will say connect account instead of disconnect account, okay? And when you do that, you're gonna hit connect, you're gonna use your KW email. This creates your DocuSign account and connects it to Command. If you try to create a DocuSign account outside of Command, it will not connect. And you will have to reach out to DocuSign and have them delete everything, and you'll have to start over. It won't talk to Command unless you do it this way. So you want to make sure you hit connect account. They will send you an email to complete the registration process. Then you're going to come back here, and this is going to say authorize. And you're going to have to click that, and then it will be connected. It's a 3-step process. Okay?
You have to enter, do you make your own password? I was doing it as you were, like you just create a password right here and stuff?
Yep, you just fill out all the stuff that they tell you, because it's, even though it's connected to Command, it is a separate, DocuSign is a separate system. The only reason you have to do it this way is because they need to be able to talk And this creates the little rainbow bridge between the two. Okay? So once you do all of those steps, it will say connected. Until you complete all of those steps, it will say in progress. So if you try to use it by starting a transaction and nothing happens, check to make sure you've completed all of the steps, okay? The second thing you're gonna attach here is your Facebook. Not your personal, your business page, Facebook, because that allows you to schedule posts right from command to your business page. So as you're creating designs, marketing, things of that nature, you can post them directly to your Facebook, okay? So you can connect that. Just make sure it's up here because I've already connected mine. It will be down here under social. There are 2 Facebooks. The second one is under marketing automation. This one requires a credit card because this has to do with paid ads through Facebook that Facebook charges you, like where you set it where it's like a $10 budget or whatever. That is where that one connects. So just make sure that if you're not ready to put a credit card in, you're just connecting the social one. And that just allows you to do regular scheduling of Facebook posts, okay? They're different. You can also do Twitter. I believe that if you go into this little hut with, it looks like the Facebook Marketplace picture icon. If you click on that, it's the same concept. It's a marketplace where you can look at other apps that you can add in here, which can include free or payable, okay? So just pay attention to that part. I know that there are a couple of coming soons with title companies who are gonna be able to integrate so that way they can also just be sent messages directly from command to kind of make your business a little bit smoother. So there are still some things that are coming soon, okay? So just keep an eye on that. And then the last thing I wanna show you in here before we go to our next profile is PieSync. One of the 3 ways to get your contacts into command is by connecting PieSync. PieSync, when you hit this button, will load a window. I'm pretty sure I have not accepted the terms of change yet, so it's probably gonna give me a little notice. But anyway, you can connect your Google contacts, or if you're old like me and you have a Hotmail, you can connect your Outlook. Or you can also connect your iCloud. That would connect to your phone. So here's the humdinger. When you connect it, wait for everything to come over to your command, then go in here and disconnect it. Because otherwise, if you connect it to your phone, and you're like, I don't want the pizza parlor to be in my command contacts, you know, and you delete it from your command contacts, it will delete it from your phone, because they're synced. So you want to sync them so that way all of the contacts from your phone come into command, and then you want to disconnect it because then they will, whatever changes you make to one will not affect the other. They'll just be in there. Same for your Google contacts. You can connect it and then you can disconnect it. So that way, when you make changes to one, it doesn't automatically affect the other, okay? Now, the phone was the biggest one. That was a little bit of a hot mess. I was like, oh, I did not know that. Okay, so sorry about that. We just had to disconnect that. And with that being said, one of the misunderstandings with PieSync was that you could only sync one thing. You can only have one item synced at a time. So in order to sync multiple things, you simply have to disconnect what it's currently syncing with and sync the next thing, and then disconnect it and then sync the next thing. So you can do that with multiple contact points, your phone, your email. We had somebody who was changing business fields, so they had a business email, a personal email, and they wanted to do their phone. So you can connect one, disconnect, connect the next, disconnect, connect the third. That way you don't have to manually enter. Now with that being said, you will have to go back and edit each of those contacts because they're only going to have whatever you have in your phone. If you're like me, I don't even know that I have an email address in this entire phone. I just don't think I do. So I would have a name and a phone number, like Sarah, sister from another mister, which is not her legal name, mind you. You might have to update that. And then her phone number, but I would have to go back and add her email address, her mailing address, you know, her Facebook link, all of that stuff as I was going through it, but it at least gets you a starting point with your contacts. It's just an option. You do not have to do this method. It's just one that, since I'm already here, I like to show people. So then you're gonna come over here on this left-hand side of this little selection here. You see Connect Settings, and then you're gonna see Marketing Profile. This is the one that will help brand your website. This is the one that will help brand your app, okay? So you're gonna come here, you're gonna upload your photo. If you decide to be part of a team, you're gonna upload your team logo. You're gonna put in your information, name your license number, not the office license number. The team name if you're on a team, and your professional job title. Your professional job title is a real estate agent. Pretty straightforward. If you're on a team or you decide to specialize, like maybe you want to be a buyer's agent, or you're going to specialize in, I don't know, a listing agent, transaction coordinator, whatever it is that your job title is going to be, a director of operations for a real estate team, I don't know, whatever it's going to be, you can put that here, and then under designation and credentials, put real estate agent. It's whatever qualifies for your specific situation. And then, like I said, that bio that we talked about in the first referral profile, you're just going to copy and paste it into this one. It's the same one. Your mobile and office phone, that's our office phone number. Let me call you right back. I'm almost done. Okay? Like maybe 10 more minutes. Okay, I'm gonna be less than 10 minutes and then I will call you right back. I love you, bye. Okay. So then you're gonna do the Market Center logo. We just talked about how to download those logos, so you can go ahead and use one of those to put it in here. If it is not the right size, you can use Canva, or you can use Designs and Command to resize it and then just upload it. And then you're going to put the brokerage name information and then our license number. That's that license number from that KW Mullinex Tech page. You put the one that you belong to. If you're the Norman board, you put the Norman one, which is what I have in here. If you're OKC or one of the other offices, you'll use theirs. And then the legal footer. Each office is independently owned and operated. It's on your business cards. It is the legal footer. Oh, hi. I need one. Oh, KW 405 329 6976. Okay, little letters. You're welcome. Each office is independently owned and operated is the legal footer. If you're a part of a team, sometimes a lot of team members will include things like, my name is Courtney Pack, and I am a real estate agent with the Pack real estate team, and with Keller Williams Mullinex, each office is independently owned and operated, because you are also going to be operating underneath that team. So some of them also include that as part of their legal footer. As long as you have each office is independently owned and operated in that legal footer, you're not wrong. That's just the most important part. You do not have to have an image. Your other media pages are optional, and then you're going to hit save. It will pop that little box up. And then over here, you're going to see this button right at the top that says use my information to brand my agent site. You have to toggle that over, because that's you giving permission that it's going to use the information you've provided in this profile to make your website and to make your app branded, okay? So, that being said, we're gonna go to consumer. It's this very last clickable icon down here on the far right. If you don't know what these are, you can click the KW and it will list them out for you. Once you kind of get familiar with it, you'll just know which one is where. So you click consumer, and you're going to click Site and App Settings. You're not going to click Create a New Site because that is deception. Doesn't do the same thing. You want to click Site and App Settings. Oh, I got to move my little window box. And it then, once you're in that tab, it will say Agent Site Options. And you want to use the new Agent KW sites. When you click Submit, it will ask you if you want to leave the page. You do. It will bring you to the website builder. It's super easy, super squares. You're going to go ahead and hit Get Started, and that's when you choose what your subdomain name is going to be. You choose what color it's going to be, and then you can edit if you want it to say something or change a picture or whatever in the third step, and when you're done, you hit Save, it's live. It sometimes takes an hour or two to go live, but for the most part, it's pretty instant. Okay? So that is the process of creating your website. I told you it would be really simple. And then we're going to go, this is the little referrals people, but the box with the person in it is contacts. Yes, I want to leave that page. So this is the contacts. Yours is going to be empty. Mine has some people in it, but yours is going to be empty to start. You have two other options to get your contacts in here. You can click this import button, and then you're going to click this download button, and it's going to actually download a spreadsheet for you. The spreadsheet is pre-formatted. If you do your own spreadsheet and try to import it, it will say it's an improperly formatted sheet and it will not accept it. You have to use the one that they provide. When you open it, it is really way more crazy than it needs to be. You're only going to do the first and last name, the phone number, and the email. That's it. You can only do for 50 people, and then you're gonna save it, and you can drag and drop right into here, and it will have a little import button. It used to take about 4 to 5 hours to import those 50 people. That number, I'm told, has been decreasing, but most of my people have been using PySync manual, so I don't have any reference of time currently since they've done the updates at MegaCamp. So that is the other way. You can do 50 people at a time that way. And then, of course, there's the good old-fashioned manual entry. You will be familiar with your manual entry because you're going to have to edit people no matter how you get them in there unless you do it this way because you have to put all that information in. So you're going to put in the full name, email, phone number. You can add to sales pipeline or mark as a lead. That just allows to prompt you for the next step. Tags. Tags are things like whether they're a buyer or a seller or I met them at church. Or whatever it is that you are looking at, depending on how you build your database. You may have a lot of military guys and gals that are looking for transfers. Military are always buying and selling. Just gonna say that, slide that in there. And we've got Tinker. So military is a big one. A lot of people like to mark that, especially because, like I said, there's a lot of frequency in buying and selling that occurs with military. And so you want to mark them. They're going to be a special case. Also military, because sometimes that means VA loan. And who you might refer somebody to a lender is going to change if they're using a VA loan versus, you know, some other type of loan, a conventional or FHA, because sometimes you want, there are certain lenders who give additional benefits to VA people, like paying for the appraisal. All that little bit helps. So there may be a difference that you choose. Next, you're going to hit additional information. You can choose whichever one of these, copy and paste the same personal information here. And then you're going to go ahead and put the address. I always put the mailing address because in my personal opinion, whether they're buying or selling, that address is going to change. So it's just wherever they're going to get mail, that if you need to send them something, they can get it. So that's what I personally choose. You can also put in their Facebook page. I highly recommend that you link a Facebook page with people if you can. And I will tell you why in just a second. Legal name, like I said, some people have go by names and you need to have their legal name for their contract. So you want to make sure that if they have a different name from their legal name that you include it here. Sometimes it's just as simple as a spelling. Kay Allen, wonderful agent in our office. Her legal name is K-A-Y. She spells it C-A-Y-E on everything except for her legal documents because she just doesn't like K-A-Y. So you would want to include her actual legal spelling on this part for the contracts. Birthday, home anniversary, if you have it. You can put a spouse here. I recommend that you create the contacts separately and then just select it from the contact that's already in place. That's how I would do it. I'm just gonna delete that out because I don't want it. Work, I thought that this was silly. I found during the pandemic it's actually super helpful because a conversation that you may have with a doctor is going to be a different conversation than somebody who works in the oil business. They're all having different types of economic changes right now. So when you are putting something in here, it is kind of helpful to know what they do for a living because that does change your conversations, or it can. Sales pipeline, captured versus connected. Hey mom, how are you? Yeah, did you go to church today? That's fantastic. Anybody say anything about any real estate needs while you were there? Oh, Betty, awesome. Yeah, do you have her phone number? Great. Thank you. I'll talk to you later. Okay, love you. Oh, I love you so much. Okay, bye. That person is captured. I have not spoken to Betty. I spoke to my mother. My mother gave me Betty's information, right? Hey, Betty, how are you? I was just talking to mom and she was telling me how your son finally got that job and moved out. That's awesome. I'm so excited for him. And you know, I've always loved your home and I thought, you know, I just wanted to reach out to you and see, are you looking to downsize? You are? That would be amazing. You know, I'm a licensed real estate agent. I don't know if mom ever told you that, but I would really love to run some comps on your home and kind of tell you what it's worth. Do you think that there's an opportunity for me to swing by tomorrow and come talk to you about that? Fantastic. Do you want me to bring mom's bundt cake? She's gonna make one, I know it. Yeah, no, I totally will. All right, I'll see you tomorrow. How about 10 o'clock? We'll do like a nice tea brunch. Fantastic, I look forward to seeing you. Bye-bye. Now we're connected. You're welcome for my acting skills. So that is the difference between captured and connected. Conversation where you get someone's information and a conversation with that person. Two different types of conversations. So that lead is a different kind of lead, right? So now you're also going to select where it came from. If you're talking to mom and mom gives you the information, well, guess what? Oopsie, you have to actually click from contacts. Oh, and spell it right. You're going to click on mom's name, right? Because you want to know that mom is the one who gave you that contact. Because if mom is giving you 30 contacts, mom's getting a great Mother's Day gift. You know, and at the same time, if it's, I highly recommend you put every vendor and every person that you work with. If it is a person who you in any way do any type of business with, they should be in your database, because just like a client, you need to have care calls and make sure that they know that you're thinking about them. And if they have anybody looking to buy or sell, they can refer that business to you, just like you refer business to them. Symbiosis. Is that a word? No. What do they call that? Symbiotic. Is that a word?
Symbiotic.
There we go. See, I knew I was going to get there. Okay. So you want to have those in there because you also want to know if your plumber has sent you 3 referrals, you better make sure that the next time you have somebody with a plumbing need that you give that guy a call and hope that he's available, because you want to be able to refer business to someone and have them refer business back to you. Referrals is a big part of real estate. Also, if you're paying to run Facebook ads, you want to know that this person came from a Facebook ad, because if you're having a good turnout from your Facebook ads, you want to make sure that you're really paying attention to that, because that's a good lead source for you. Whereas if you're not getting anything from your Facebook ads, you need to really consider, what are you doing for your marketing? What changes do you need to make? Maybe you need to be targeting your market better, doing different things. This is a way to help you see where you might be having gaps in those lead sources. And then you're gonna have custom, which I don't put any custom fields, but some people do like the custom fields. That's up to you guys on your own database building. And then you hit create. Now I did have a chat, so I'm just gonna check and see. Oh, okay. So I'm gonna go to my mother's because this is what a contact card looks like once it's filled out. You'll have a timeline here that will tell you all of the things that have transpired with this person. If you've added them to a smart plan, if you've made a note, if you've called them, if you've texted them, as long as you've logged the activity. And then you can also access their opportunities, tasks, notes, everything that you need to do with this person is here, okay? So you can see that I made a phone call to my mother and she told me that Betty was looking for a house and gave me the reference, right? Okay, great. Well, say that this wasn't that same person, this is somebody else. Well, I called them and they told me that their cat was sick and they had to take the cat to an emergency vet visit. I made a note of that. You wanna know why? Because when I called a week later, I didn't have to rack my brain for what to say to them and act like I didn't remember. I had a note here that told me that their cat was sick. So the first thing I did when I called them was I said, hey, Betty, how are you? You know, I was just calling you because I remember last time we talked, you said your cat wasn't feeling well, and I wanted to make sure your cat's doing better. How are you doing? Because I'm so sweet. And that continues that conversation and it makes them feel like you're really genuinely connected and caring for them. So they in turn will be coming to you for their business needs when that happens, okay? So it's really important to kind of keep some basic notes just to keep the conversations in flow. Now, what happens when you haven't talked to Teresa in 9 years because she was somebody that you were just like friends with in high school, but you just really haven't talked to them and you're like, gosh, I do not want to call her today, but it's on my call list and I really have to do my call list. You're going to have this little link here that says Facebook. That's my baby. Aww. I know, I breed good babies. So, okay, so then you're going to go on her Facebook and you're just going to scroll and you're going to see what's going on. And oh, look it, there were photography things for her granddaughter. Fantastic. I'm gonna call her, hey Teresa, how are you? You know, I was scrolling through Facebook and I saw you post this thing about your granddaughter's pictures. That was awesome. She looks so adorable, looks just like you. We haven't talked in years. How is your family doing? Fantastic. That's so great. Yeah, you know, my family's been doing really good too. You know, I don't know if you know this, but I'm actually a licensed real estate agent now. Real estate, you say? Know anybody looking to buy or sell? Ta-da! Round of applause. My acting skills. So it's just an easy way for you to have an in of conversation to have access to somebody's social media. Now, not everybody has Facebook. You don't have to use Facebook. There are other options in the little drop down. You can use Instagram. I think Tweet or Twat is on there and whatever else social media wise. There are like 6 options. Some of them I don't even know what they are, but they're there. So you can just use whatever that person has if you would like. But it is just a way for you to have access to that person to start the conversation. Okay, so I feel like that's a lot of information. Does anybody have any questions before we call it quits at this point?
So when you move to New York, will you be doing driveway plays or are you staying in the real estate business?
No. I'm just gonna chill for a little while. I'm thinking about getting my license out there so that way I can transaction coordinate. Well, you don't have to for transaction coordinator, but I feel like I would need to because I'm a little too controlling to not.
So when we go back and do all of this ourselves and we go, oh, I don't remember anything that she told me, and we're trying to restart that, I go with those YouTube videos before.
The YouTube videos will show you, and also if you're really not finding what you need in that YouTube video, you can also click on your name and there's this little thing with the graduation cap that says command training. And when you click on that command training, it will open up to this page, and you can just scroll down and say, you know, she wanted me to do something with referrals, and you click on referrals, and there's videos in here on how to do all of that as well. So this was just clicking your name, and it's that command training.
I kept getting tired of it, but I was like, I hold my hand and they. No, I just wanted that, maybe we can all, again, come join our class, yeah, our class are really close.
If each one of us retains 10%, we can.
No, it's serious, sit down and like, we can make sure we have all the things.
Yeah, make sure we're all on the same
Yeah.
page.
I like that, because I did a LinkedIn party too, so like, stuff like that, where like, you
Yeah.
sit around and you'll do it.
Right.
We don't have any job experience, so it's like,
And I was connected on the Zoom, and then I couldn't be there because I had 11 o'clock thing that got canceled, so I was like, I'm gonna go there,
You have some really important things to go do.
Yes, I'm gonna go, now that we're all finished up here, I'm gonna end this class, and if